Elon Musk, he's built some of the most ambitious companies on the planet. But what's really going on behind all that success? What's the actual philosophy? Well, it turns out it boils down to five pretty simple but really powerful rules. So let's dive into this. Think of it as a masterclass on building a company from the ground up, straight from the man himself.
Okay, check this quote out. This single line, it captures the entire intensity of Musk's approach. This isn't about just, working a little bit harder. It's about completely changing the math on what you can actually get done. So let's break down how he does it, starting with rule number one. All right, rule number one. This is the bedrock, the foundation for everything else. It's really the non-negotiable price of admission. For Musk, work hard isn't some nice suggestion on a poster. No, it's a mathematical necessity, especially if you're starting something from scratch. Now, what's so wild about this is just how simple the math is. I mean, look at it. If your competitor is putting in 50 hours a week and you're putting in 100, you're literally doing laps around them. Think about it. In just one calendar year, you will produce 2 full years' worth of work. This isn't about being twice as smart, not at all. It's about pure, relentless, raw output. And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. This quote, man, it just perfectly shows what super hard actually looked like for his very first company. He and his brother, they weren't just working at the office. They were living there, sleeping on the couch, coding all night, showering at the YMCA. It's an extreme example for sure, but it just goes to show the level of insane commitment he believes you need to actually win. Okay, so let's move on to rule number 2, and you'll see how this builds on the first one. All that crazy hard work, it has to be channeled into something, right? And that something, your product, your service, it can't just be okay. It absolutely has to be great. So Musk asks this really fundamental question. Let's say you've worked twice as hard as everyone else, and you've managed to create a product that's, a little bit better than what's already out there. Is that going to be enough? Is that enough to convince a customer to ditch what they know and take a chance on you? And the answer is a big, fat no. And here's the psychology behind it. When a customer is looking at two options, a brand they already know, they already trust, versus some new, unknown company, they're almost always going to pick the safe bet. It's just human nature. A small, marginal improvement just isn't enough to break that habit, to overcome that inertia. This chart really brings the whole idea to life. See that middle bar? Being just slightly better means you're still living in the shadow of the big, trusted brand. It's not enough to stand out. So here's the key takeaway. You have to be a lot better. The difference needs to be so big, so compelling, that it gives the consumer a reason they just can't ignore to make that leap and switch over to you. All right, so you're working your tail off. You're focused on building an amazing product. But here's the thing. You can't do it alone. And that brings us right to rule number 3. The success of your company, when it comes right down to it, is 100% dependent on the people you get to join you on the mission. I love this definition because Musk just strips the whole idea of a company down to its bare essentials. It's not the logo, it's not the fancy office, it's not the venture capital funding. Nope, a company is simply a group of people. And the quality of that group, well, that determines absolutely everything. So what makes a great group? It comes down to these 3 things. First, you need talent. Obvious, right? Second, they have to be hardworking, which, hey, ties right back to rule number 1. But the third one is absolutely critical. They all have to be pulling in the same direction, focused cohesively. Because without that unified focus, you can have the most talented, hardworking people in the world, and you'll still go nowhere. Okay, so how do you keep that talented, hardworking team focused? That leads us straight into rule number 4. You have to focus on signal over noise. This is all about being absolutely ruthless in prioritizing what actually moves the needle. These definitions are so important to get. The signal is any effort that directly results in a better product or service. That's it. The noise is, well, it's literally everything else. All the stuff companies spend time, energy, and money on that doesn't actually improve the core thing they're building. And Musk's argument is that most companies get completely lost in the noise. And this is maybe the best example of that philosophy in action. Just look at that number. 0. That's how much Tesla has spent on advertising. $0. For one of the most famous car companies on Earth. So why? Because in Musk's world, traditional advertising, that's just noise. So if the money isn't going to ads, where does it go? Well, it's all plowed right back into the signal. Every single dollar gets reinvested into research and development, into manufacturing, into design, anything and everything to make the car as good as it can possibly be. The whole strategy is to build a car so damn good that it advertises itself. The product is the marketing. Okay, on to our final rule, and this one's a little different. It's more personal. It's basically a call to action. Because even if you've mastered the first 4 principles, you still need one last ingredient. You need the courage to actually start. And his point is, the time to do that is right now. This timeline really shows you why. When you're young, say in your 20s, your obligations are usually pretty low. But as you get older, life happens, right? You might get married, have kids, a mortgage. You have people who depend on you. And taking some huge, bold risk gets a whole lot harder when you're not just betting on yourself anymore. That window for taking maximum risk is widest when your obligations are at their lowest. And that's his final piece of advice, right there. It's just a direct, simple encouragement to grab that moment when you have it. You know, the sting of failure, it's temporary. But the regret of wondering, what if? That can stick with you for a lifetime. So, when you put it all together, work super hard, make something truly great, surround yourself with great people, focus only on the signal, and take your shot now. It all boils down to this one final question. What bold thing are you going to do?